This is Gemara Baba Basra Daf Test, and we're holding on the bottom of Ches Amid Viz Tanu Rabbanan, approximately 10 lines from the bottom. The first word on the line is Tzedakah. Tanu Rabbanan, continuing the theme of Tzedakah. Gabai Tzedakah She'in Lem Aniyim L'Chalek. We have Gabai Tzedakah, we have collectors, but they don't have Aniyim. They don't have aniyim to give the money to. Not a common scenario, but it could happen. They have extra money. What do? Partin la'acherim vein partin la'atzmai. Says the Gemara, they could exchange the coins for other people, but not for themselves. Because if they exchange the coins for themselves, people are going to suspect that they're stealing from tzedakah. If we have the gabayim of the tamchoy, which is the food collection, again, but vein moichin atzman moi shal tzedakah ein moinin oisan. Ein moina such time, you don't count them 2 coins at a time. Alachas achas, we see the utmost importance in counting, in distribution, and even in how things are perceived by the public. Continues the Gemara, Amar Abaye, 4 lines at the bottom, Reish Lav Yosef Mar. Originally, Mar, a rabbi, would not sit upon the mats that belonged to the shul. Why? Because it was purchased with tzedakah money, and Rabbi didn't want to benefit from such. But once Rabbi heard that which we learned in a brayso, that you're able to exchange and you're able to utilize the money for whatever which the collector so deems appropriate, then after that, Rabbi Yosef, he would sit on the mats, because that was the reason why they were purchased. Amr Abaye continues Abaye and explains 2 lines at the bottom. Originally, Rabbi would make 2 kisim, 2 purses. One for general aniyim and one for people in his own city. But then, given the Shami Ladamr Lishmol or Rav Tachliva bar Avdimi, that once he heard that what Shmuel told her, Rav Tachliva bar Avdimi, that he did the same thing, but Shmuel told him you don't have to. What did Shmuel say? Ovid chad kisa, make 1 kiss. And what should you do? Said Shmuel to Rav Tachliva bar Avdimi. Va'asni Allah. As we turn over to today's Daf Testament Aleph, said Shmuel, you make 1 purse. And you make it tonight. Va'asni Allah, and you stipulate that the money should be used for 1 first, and then, as the Tabrashi says, the Chalkam L'chol Haba, after that, he as well, Yunami Avid Chaki, Savasni Allah, and he made such a tonight. Rav Ashi Amar Anosni Nami Loy Sarichna, said Rav Ashi, I don't even need to have to make such a tonight. Why? The Chol, the Ka'asi. Anything that comes to the city Tzedakah fund that Rav Ashi was in charge of, they give it for me, that I could do with it that which I see fit. And the one I could give it to I see fit. So said Rav Ashi, I didn't even have to stipulate, as this is the simple reason why people are entrusting me with their tzedakah money. Says the Gemara, Hanu Trey. There were 2 butchers, Tabchai, Avdi and Yana, Bahadi Adadi. 5 lines down, Tessam and Aleph, that what would they do? They would make Tanayim. If anyone would go and shecht on the day that was supposed to be for his friend, the other butcher will come and kinas him and prevent him from doing such. They would make sure that there were set days that each could shechta. What happened one time? Azal, one of them went, and he shechted on the day of his friend. And what did he do? He cut open the other one's hide as a kenas. Also, Rava obligated him to pay. Why? Because he felt that the butchers didn't have a right to make such a strong-handed tonight. Says Gemara, Eser Rav Yemer bar Shammai l'Rava latzi al kitzasam. But the Brisa learned that they can find those who are over their Tanai, so why weren't they able to? Lo yahadle Rava didn't respond. Amar Rapapa explained, Shabar Avdullah Delay. It's good that he didn't respond midi. Why? Hani mili hecha delek adam chashav hecha dik adam chashav lav kol kamine demasta. It's true. There are times and places that people can make Tanayim with each other, but in a place of an Adam Gadol, you're not able to, as you defer to him. Continues the Gemara about 15 lines down. Tessa Benal, the first one line is Chashiv. Tanu Rabbanon ein mechashvin b'tzedakah. One is not allowed to be machashev, to calculate with tzedakah, im gabai tzedakah, with the collectors, v'loi behektish, nor with hektish, im gazbarim, with the gizbar, with the treasurers in charge of hektish. V'av albi, and even though shein raya l'davar, zeicha l'davar, shenemar, as the Paul says, v'loi anashim, says the Pasuk, they will not calculate with the Anashim. Sheinu is a kasav al yadam laseis laisei amalacha ki be'emuna heim aisim, because they are assumed to be done be'emuna faithfully, so they will never make a calculation with them. Amar Rav Elazar, even still, af alpi sheish lo la'adam gizbar neman b'tech beisa yatzor v'yimna. Even if someone had a trustworthy gizbar in his house, yatzor v'yimna, should go and count the money before giving to the treasurer. You always want to count, you always want to double check. A good attitude when it comes to stock in general, you always want to ensure that everything is with ultimate and utmost accuracy. Says the Gemara, that was in the collection of tzedakah. Now we go to whom is supposed to get the tzedakah. So says Rav Huna, we go and we check after an ani when he asks for food. However, ein baitkin, we don't check after one who asks for clothing. Rather, if an ani comes requesting clothing, says Rav Huna, right away fulfill his wish. One is more embarrassing. For someone to come and ask for money for clothing is a higher level. And so it's coming to ask for food, and that's why we don't have to check into me by saying makra. Hello, parish l'rav lach mecha, says the pasuk. Will you not break bread for the hungry? Bishin ksev is written with the letter sin. Parosh v'hadar havalei. Parais first clarify v'hadar havalei, then give him. V'hasam ksev, that's when it comes to food. But v'hasam ksev, by clothing, yitir aram v'kisisa kisira la'alter. When you see someone who doesn't have clothing right away, you give to him. Rav Yehuda Amar, says Rav Yehuda, baitkin l'chsos, vein baitkin l'mizaynis. The opposite. Ibay say masvar, ibay say makra. The guy has no food. He's such a high level of tsar. Look into it and only afterwards give him the necessary clothing that he needs. Tani Kvasi Rav Yehuda, 2 lines from the white lines. Amar Kesuni Baitkin Acharaf. If someone says, give me clothing, we check after him, but Parnasuni ain't Baitkin, we don't check after him when it comes to food. Says the Gemara Tanan Hasam. On the last narrow line, continues the Gemara, Ein Paichasin La'ani. We do not give to an ani, la'ani ha'ivr mimakal l'makal that travels, mikikar bepodian ma'arbasayin l'sela. We do not give an ani who travels from place to place a loaf of bread that's upon you when it's for a sela, lon. But if he stays overnight, then nice and late parnasa, then we support him. Parnasa slina, the money to stay overnight by parnasa slina. Amar Baba paraya. It's the cost of a bed, ubeisadia, and a pillow for his head. Shavas. If he stays for a Shabbos in the city, then we give him food. Shalish sudais. Tana, we learned in the Mishnah. If someone is going around collecting, we don't have to give him because he's collecting for himself. We only give people that come to the kupa, to the stucca fund, and ask for such. Says the Gemara, there was an ani 4 lines into the white lines. He was going collecting. He came to Rabba. And Rabba didn't bother with him. He didn't give him any money. Amar later Rav Sama Breder Rav Yevel Rabba Yimar lo mizdagile Inish Achrina lo mizdagile. If you don't give him, no one's gonna give him. Lemos lay, the guy's gonna die. Lemos. So Amar lay Vatanya Maya Ania Marsal Psachim Einis Kagila. I don't have to give him. Amar lay Einis Kagila Lematana Meruba. Avaniskakin Lai Lematana Muetis, which of course is always the mindset. If you're not sure, yes, people have different letters and whatnot, but if you ever have a question, true, that's for Matana Meruba. For Matana Muetes, that one can always comply. Amar Avasi, a third of a shekel per year. Shemar Ben Olav mitzvahs lasis alenu shis shekel. Bashana lavoy das beisalukinu. Amar Avasi shkul staginegi kol mitzvahs. Tzedakah is equal like all the mitzvahs. Never vandu alenu mitzvahs. The guy mer mitzvah in ksiv kan ela mitzvahs. Amar Rav Elazar Godol Hamaisa Yosef ben Aisa. An action is greater. Godol Hamaisa says, Rav Elazar Yosef ben Aisa, one who causes others to give is greater than he himself to give. Shenem Rai Maisa Estakas Shalom Vavoidas Hatstakam Hashkeit Ubetach Adoilam Zacha Halaparis Lerav Lachmech Loizacha Vanim Rudaim Tavi Bayis. Amrlu Rava lebnei Mechuza b'matusa minaychi. I beg of you, oisu b'adi adadi. Give tzedakah to each other. Get to lav l'chus shalma b'malchus. You'll have shalom in the malchus. V'amar Rav Elazar, 3 lines to the bottom. Zan shebei l'migdash kayim adam shakul shkaloi meschaber loi. Achshav shebei l'migdash kayim and oisa tzedakah mutaf. V'imla b'anav d'chavim noitlim b'Yisrael. Either way, you're going to lose the cash. Either give her to the tzedakah or the guy is going to take it. Vaval b'ikei nechshav lahen l'tzedakah shnever noiksecha v'noiksecha tzedakah amar Rabba aimos l'ishtay le'ula. This mentioned ishtay le'ula was mentioned to me by a child. As we turn over to Testament Beis mi shagish archase de'imei mishmei Rav Elazar. It was mentioned to me by a child that was made his mother's actions negative. Mishmei Rav Elazar. What is this? Explains the Gemara. Ma'idach sev. What is the meaning of the pasuk? Vayalbesh, and he'll clothes tzedakah kashir yoin, like a coat. Explains the Gemara. Just like this, shir yoin. 3 lines down. Kol kibo kliba mitzarefes. Each and every dot of it is mitzaref l'shir yoin gadol. Av tzedakah kol pruta. Mitzaresef lecheshbin gadol. Rav Chlina Amar Me'ach, and that's part of the reason we always hear every penny. That's the Gemara. Kol pruto is mitzaref l'tzedakah gedayla. Rav Chlina Amar Me'ach chabeged eidim kol sikaseinu ma'beged zeh kol nima v'nima tzaref lebeged gadol. Each and every thread and each and every weave eventually equals a larger beged. Av tzedakah kol pruta mitzarefes lecheshbin gadol. Maikar le'ula. Ask the Gemara, what is the reason that Rava called Rav Sheshes, the ula of the child, Mishagish Archoisei, the messed up his ways, the imei, the boimine Rav Chvoy bar Ami Rav Sheshes. The reason is Rav Chvoy bar Rav Ami asked from Rav Sheshes, Minayin lemetzayer b'meisi pura shemetameh Adam. How do we know that a mitzvah in the days of its counting is still matama and Adam? Amalei Rav Sheshes responded, "Oh, matama v'gadim matama Adam." Amalei tama tama b'chaburim. How do you know that's the reason? Tama tama v'chiburim shiny maybe terma of items connected is different. Therefore, you can't bring a raya. Says the Gemara, why? The hasan avela the mitam begadim, ve'ena mitam b'adam. When it comes to hasan, when it comes to moving the nevela, the carcass of an animal, the halacha is mitam begadim, and it's not mitam adam. So you can't tell me just because it's mitam adam, it's going to be mitam kelim. Amar lei v'alo sheretz. So now from sheretz the mitam adam minalan. La misham is reason now misham mitam begadim. So we think it's mitam begadim. Therefore it's mitam adam. Amar lei Rav Chdubai said to Rav Sheshes, no. Sheretz behed yaksivu tapasek oisha sheyiga b'chol sheretz ela shechva zera. the zera of a man, the mitam ba'adam min Allah, and lam misham the hilu mitam begadim mitam ba'adam. Amar lai shechva zera nami ba'adik sibbe. It's a straight up pasuk. Why are you telling me you're learning from a Kal V'Chaimer? Says the Gemara. It's a straight up pasuk. Oi ish the rabbi says anagea as anagea. So hadar lay. So you went back to him and he said, b'vdichusa hadar lay b'vdichusa. One more second, I lost my place over here. Rav Achlavai responded to Rav Sheisha as a joke almost. Chalash daidi Rav Sheisha felt bad. Ishtik, he was quiet. Rav Achlavai barami v'isyaker talmudei. He forgot his learning. Why? Because he made fun of Rav Sheisha. So in Hashemayim he was caused to forget his Torah. Asi ime v'kabachi kamei. Rav Sheisha's mother came and he was crying before Rav Sheisha that he should intercede for Rav Achlavai. But Kamei, Savcha, V'loi Ashcha Bein, he didn't listen to her. Amr Lei, she said to Rav Sheisha, Chazi Lahani Chadye Dematas Minayu. See these breasts of mine that you drank from as a child. Boi Rachamei Alei. Davin, they shall have mercy in Rav Achlavai, V'yistai, and Lamaisei listened, and he was healed. Says the Gemara, going back to the story of Rav Achlavai for a moment, the Asnan Allah Minalan. Now that we know this kasha of Rav Sheisha Minalan, from where do we know that a Metzera Lamaisa makes people tummy? He touches during the days of counting the Yimei Sfirat Kedetanya. Rashbi Amarnaim Kivot Nemer Kos Begadim Bimei Zibura Nemer Kvotz Begadim Bimei Chalutai. Says kfus by both of them. Malahal and midam adam. Avkam midam adam. Amar Rav Elazar Gadol Aisa Tzedakah b'Seiser. Back to the miles of Tzedakah. Yoiser mi Moshe Rabbeinu. Give tzedakah b'Seiser. You're getting Moshe Rabbeinu. Dil Moshe Rabbeinu. What does it say? Ksev ki agarti mi panai yoav achema v'il b'Seiser tzedakah ksev matan b'Seiser yechap af shechet b'chei chema also. Playing Rav Yitzchak. This is arguing on Rav Yitzchak. Dam Rav Yitzchak. Av koi b'chema ino koi shenem Rav Shachan b'chei chema asa. Av bisha shechet b'chei chema asa. Still, there's going to be chema, so it's not. It argues with him that it's not greater than Moshe Rabbeinu. The Amri says the Gemara. Another lush of Yitzchak called Dayan Shenotel Shachad. Maybe Chama Azal Ilam. If a Dayan takes Shachad, he brings terrible destruction. Shnemer v'Shachad b'Cheik v'Gomer. Famri Yitzchak gonna say Brutalani Mizbarich v'Sheish Bracha. It's the famous statement of Rabbi Yitzchak. Someone gives a pruta, one little pruta tzan, you get 6 brachas. But I'm a faisai b'dvarim. If you make Dani feel good, it costs you nothing, and yet mitbarich b'yirav brachas. Hanai say brutalani mitbarich sheish brachas michsev. Haloi paris v'gaimer. The first why meaning says line. Vaniyim merudim tavi ba'is v'gaimer. Kitira ayram v'gaimer. And yet, I'm a faisei b'dvarim. If you appease him with words, then what? Mitbarich ba'achas esrei brachas. Shneimar v'tabik l'rav. Nafshecha v'nefesh na'aneh tasbiyah v'zarach v'chayshech ayrech v'aflechsech v'zarayim v'nechacha shem tamid v'sbiyah v'zechachais nafshecha v'gaymer b'nei mimecha ha'kar b'is olam oisei dar tekumam. And that's what we learn out that there's 11 brachas. Amar Rav Yitzchak, my dersev, what is the meaning of the pasuk? Roidev tzedakah v'chesed yimsa chayim tzedakah v'chavod. Mishon de roidev tzedakah yimsa tzedakah. What does that mean? You run after tzedakah, you'll get tzedakah. Elohim l'chai know what the Torah is teaching us in the 6 medium-sized line. Kol ha'roidev achar tzedakah Kadosh Baruch Hu mamsi loy mois. Hashem will give you money. V'oisem and tzedakah, high level to seek out how to give more and more tzedakah. Nachman Yitzchak Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu mamsi loy b'nei adam hamuganim laslet tzedakah. You know what it means? Hashem's going to give you good people that need tzedakah, and you'll give to them. L'kabel aleim schar lafukei. My, what does it come to exclude? Lafuki mi the Darish Rabbo, the Darish Rabbo may say, what does it mean? The Pasik, v'yu b'ch shaylim v'necha b'isa pecha, oisa behem, am Rabbi Yimon Nekesh Baruch Hu, Rabbanim Shalaylam, afilu b'isha, shekoivin ezitzum b'vakshin lasis tzedakah l'v'necha. Still, person's trying to do good, and yet, l'v'necha shilim b'bnei adam, she'ena mehuganim. He tries to do good, but l'maisi, he gets bumped into people who are not proper, k'dish yikabel aleim schar. Shuman Levi Amar Kol Haragal Asay Tzedakah Zoicha Havin Labanim Balei Chachma Balei Oisher Balei Koda Balei Chachma Techsev on the top of Yod Amid Aleph Yimatzei Chayim Bali Oisher Dechsev, Tzedakah. Bali Agada Dechsev, Chavoid, that I'll get honor. Ksevacha v'Chavoid, Ksevasa Kavod Chacham Yichalu. And therefore, we learn one from the other, all the incredible milos of tzedakah. We'll pick it up from here, B'siyata Dishmaya.